It's time to gather together. Hi there, I'm Yelta, and I'll be buying the first round while we chat about Final Fantasy XIV. This is episode 227. Pull up a chair and join us. On the menu tonight, we'll announce our Thirsty for Endwalker contest winner. Patch 5.58 notes. The Feast Season 20 is underway. Regarding the growing player population and plans to alleviate world congestion. New optional items and limited time sale. Notification of EU data center maintenance and a message for players. Recording the 14-hour broadcast, Our Tales of Adventure archive. Letter from the Producer Live Part 65 Digest is released. We have some reminders, some developers blog, and fan mail. But first, let's shoot the shit. What's been going on this week? Hi, Ruby.
What up, Yelta?
What up? You doing
Hey.
good?
Yeah, I think so. I had a couple of days this week. I was a little under the weather. Nothing major, but kind of coming out of it. So I didn't play like every single day this past 2 weeks. But I got some solid playtime in. There's other games that have come out and some other things. So before I talk about other games or other things I did, what did I do in Eorzea? I'm trying to really remember, Yelta, what I did, because it was a lot of just little bitty stuff. I think I ran Puppet's Bunker and got the 9S card. I think that I got out of that one. Nice. So I added one more Triple Triad card that I didn't have to my collection. That was a bonus. That was a plus. I think I needed the coin out of that because I was on a mission to get my weapon upgraded as high as possible before I did some Savage content. So I was sporting an I-500 book. I didn't even push my relic past 500, and so I needed to get on that. So I realized I had 2 coins. I needed one more coin from Puppet's Bunker. And I needed some tomes. I didn't have enough tomes. I tackled the tomes first. In fact, I joined the hunt train. Mr. Waffles is always a pleasure to ride your train in Excalibur. So I joined Mr. Waffles' hunt train and did the thing. I haven't done Hunt Train in so long, and I've seen this complaint on the official forums, is we need to stop the Hunt Train from doing Crossworld any longer. It's just too congested. And I get some of that, because nearing the end of my first Hunt Train, I ran 2. I ran one in Excalibur and one in Behemoth. Nearing the end of the first Hunt Train, I couldn't see mobs in Lakeland. I was having issue, and I was on Summoner, that was my mistake, and I couldn't get credit on one of the mobs. We started backwards. I think we ended it either in Lakeland or Tempest, but I think it was Lakeland is where we ended. For some reason, that train went backwards, and then I was like, "Oh, that sucks." So I missed one out of the 12 or whatever, and then went to the next train on Behemoth. I was just shy of the 1,000 tomes I needed to get to work on my weapon, and started that one off in Lakeland. Same issue. I couldn't see mobs, so that was pissing me off. Start a hunt train, not being able to see shit. And I saw somewhere in the chat somebody suggested in the party, because I just was adding people. I was that guy this time, Yelta. When you get in the thing and you're shouting like, "Invite me, please." I just was inviting people. So somebody in my own chat couldn't see, and it was suggested, get on your tank and just AoE. And boy howdy. That's what I did. I got on Paladin because I have an 80 Paladin, and just spun around in a circle with my sword out, and it worked. I got full credit on every other one. So I got my 1,000 tomes. That's your Ruby tip.
Tank.
Get on your tank. Level a tank. Excuse me. And anyway, got my 1,000. Got my coins put together. I already had my little swords, because they reduced that from 7 to 4. Yeah. So I already had my swords from Eden, and I got my 530 book. So I felt good. I could already beat the dummy for E9S Savage, which is what I was prepping for. E9 Savage. And I could already beat the dummy, but I wanted a little extra firepower. Because, when you're learning a fight, sometimes you don't press your buttons so good. Mm-hmm. There are gaps. You don't know how to time things. And I didn't want to run and not get the clear, So, felt good about that. Got the book. Saturday night, E9S time. Yelta came. Thank you, Yelta. It was a blast.
It was good times.
We did clear to dispel any doubt. We did clear. It was obviously the last one because the last one is always the clear, right? But it really was the last one. I think we had 2 minutes left on the clock of the first lockout. Technically not the first lockout because we had Joe Jabroni join us and want to dictate how we did the group. So our group leader, Bell Dandy, thank you, Bell, for running it, was doing a strat, and he was calling the strat. And it was not the exact pug strat. We were doing something that had more uptime, and it was still easy to learn. And this was he a Dragoon, Yelta? I feel like he was Dragoon.
I don't remember. I remember the thing he was upset about was something that was spelled out in the party finder description. So he joined a party that was doing this particular strat, and we were doing that part of the strat, and he complained. And then Bell was like, "Nope."
Right. Yeah, we were doing 3-4 strat, and he was doing one to do the edge strat or something like that. And
whatever, safe or whatever, yeah.
Yeah. And then he wanted to tell us we were doing it wrong when he joined the party that specifically said. And we've had this discussion on other episodes. We've talked about this before, even within our free company. We've talked about these kind of things, but you got to read what you're getting into. You got to read what you're getting into. And you got to be honest about what you're getting into, the level that you're doing. And I think the dishonest part, the guy either didn't read or this is the dishonest part. You thought you could come into a party and change the way it was. And I don't know, what is that supposed to do? Make you look like a hero? Like you fixed the party? Like you're the superior one? That's Burger King Crown mentor mentality. I'm sorry. But when you come in and you start dictating and it's somebody else's playground, get the fuck out. I just don't have time for that shit. And I'm really glad that Bell really didn't. I'm saying that now, but at the time I was like, oh, God. But that is not what happened. We didn't sit around and say, oh, God, for 45 minutes. We dropped and we kicked his ass. And you can do that in this game and not be afraid of terms of service. You just have to say, you clearly did not read, what we posted. And then bye. Goodbye. You ain't gonna be rude. It's just that's the way it was. So anyway, goodbye to you. And we added another, and these were people who were willing to learn. This was my first attempt. I thought we did swimmingly. We did really, really good. We got to the I think on the second run through or second try with the new set, we saw tiles, and then the tiles really didn't take that long to figure out for folks. And c'est la vie, the rest was history. We did some good work, and anyway, it's not the hardest fight in the world now that I've run it. I'm not really dying to try to get to E10 at this moment. I just kind of want those accessories done, and I did not get an accessory, so I have to do it again.
I Yelta sniped one of them, but I passed the other stuff.
Yeah. Yelta, if you go back to last week's episode, Yelta felt guilty about having 2. I don't know how guilty she feels this week having 3, but maybe not as guilty anymore. I don't know. I want one, though, so we have to go back. I need an accessory. Yes. That one book ain't cutting it. So, very happy with the clear. But that was kind of it. After that, that was Saturday. I started feeling a little under the weather. You could hear, I apologize for my coughing. I didn't think I was going to do this. But, I started feeling a little bad, and then I bought the great Ace Attorney. I love some Phoenix Wright games. I love Ace Attorney games. So that's been a pleasure so far with old Herlock Sholmes. I'll keep you guys up to date with my investigation. But I shall not elucidate any further. I will yet Miss Yelta tell us what she did this past week.
I did the Gold Saucer event. I don't know that it's one of those where you go around and you try to solve the mystery, but it doesn't matter if you get it right or not, you just get the prize. So I was going to go back and see if I missed any clues or anything, or look at a walkthrough, but I did the thing. I forgot what the prize even is. The emote. I have an emote. And then, on Saturday did the E9S clear, which was pretty good. I've kind of found the same thing as you. Don't join a party. Now, mind you, I've misread parties. I don't remember if I told the story on the podcast, but I thought I was going into a Emerald party, and I ended up going into the one that was for Relic, Memoria something. So I get in there, and I'm like, oh shit, and I told the guys right off, I'm like, I joined the wrong party. I said, I'll stay, but I don't remember this fight. And then we went and farmed it anyway. But I would have left if there was a problem, right? Most of them didn't know it either. They just wanted a triple triad card. That's why they were there. And we dorked our way through. I didn't have the heart to tell them that on the first clear I got the card. I just kind of left quietly after we farmed it for a while. But, no, mostly, I don't know why. I don't know if it's a mood or what, but I went and I just kind of been playing on my alt. They've been talking, my alt's free company has been talking about starting on E9S. And I'm like, well, I've done it on my main. And they're like, well, the person setting it up wants eye level 510. And I didn't have eye level 510 on that character. So I went and farmed up some gear. I went and bought I bought a crafted weapon, put some materia on it, and then I got a bug up my ass. I wanted to be I'm already a crafting mentor or whatever, but you can't do mentor roulette that way. So I'm like, okay, I already have a DPS to 80, and I've done that role quest, and I've done the healer role quest, and I don't have a tank up to 80. So I'm like, you know what? Yeah, I've got tanks that are at whatever level they start, but I feel like playing Paladin. So I'm level 1 Paladin. So I spent a day going from level 1 to 15 just through hunt logs and whatever. And then I thought I would queue up and do Sestasha. I had done some of the guild hests. You can do a couple of guild hests at 10, but it's my first dungeon on Paladin on that character. And, the gear isn't any good. So I zone in. Some people might have seen my tweets. I zone in, and I'm just, I grabbed the first couple bats, and I kept running. I grabbed the next bunch. And now mind you guys, I've tanked this stuff before. I've tanked, I think, most of the regular dungeons in the game, with trusted DPS and heals. I've even done the wall-to-wall pulls, and I know how to do an AoE rotation. I know how to use my cooldowns. But it was me and 3 sprouts. So usually I do the first pull, make sure they are actually hitting AoE buttons if they have them. But the healer kept running out, grabbing mobs and bringing them back. And I'm like, okay. So I let it go until after I let it go, you go do the whole, you fight the coral. That's the first boss. And then you go, I don't remember if you fight the captain. And then you're in the big room with all the pirates. Mm-hmm. And there's 2 sets of door guard pirates, and they each have keys. Well, I'm grabbing some of those dogs bite hard, and the damage was not very fast. So I grabbed the first pack and the next pack with the dogs. The healer runs out, grabs the 2 that are guarding the one door, the 2 that are guarding the other door. So I pick them up because I'm not an asshole. And then we burn them down, and we're still fighting other mobs. Well, one of them dropped a key. She went and opened the captain quarters key, goes and grabs the guy and brings him out too. I just typed really, waited till the pack was done, and I just left. I'm like, you know what? And they didn't say one word. I was like, I almost died several times, and I only have 1 cooldown button, and I have 1 AoE button. That's it. That's all you got. And I know it's just Sestasha, but I was just not in the mood. If you want me to pull more, I'll try to pull more. But in my measurement, we weren't going to survive that next big room because if she kept pulling everything, because the DPS was just not high enough. And it's like they could refill with another tank. I'm not
until
interested.
you told me the key part, I was willing to kind of be like, all right, this is...
Yelta's being a baby.
No, it was more like maybe this person is just on autopilot and they're just running around or something. But when you are literally like, you're picking up the key, you're going and opening the other room, you're pulling the ball, you're not standing there, you're not... And it's hard to even tell if that is even passive aggressive. Like, I can't even tell what the behavior is on that, but it's obviously unwanted. So that's that's terrible. I'm sorry that you had to deal with that.
Well, that was during the day. Then that night, I decided to queue up again, and by then I had done leveled up to something so I could get Copper Bell. Mind you, I still haven't tanked an entire dungeon on this character yet, and I get into Copper Bell. Again, the other two are Sprouts, and then it's a Scholar. Now, mind you, I understand she doesn't have to heal me, because at that low level, it's not much. But no, she's like running way ahead and running back. You know, if she would have just stayed and helped kill the stuff we already had, it would have been faster, I think. I think it would have been faster than her running off, grabbing one at a time and bringing it back. I'm like, or just fucking say something. I was just trying to remember how to play tank on an alt that's not well geared and only has, a couple of buttons. But thank you to the people. People did respond on Twitter, and they're like, well, do your AoE combo and, roll through your cooldowns. And I'm like, yeah, but it was the level 15 dungeon. I have one cooldown. So I wasn't in the mood either to just have my playstyle dictated at me. I like big pulls. I like going all the way to the end, but not every character has good AoE stuff at that level, or good gear. And I mean, these were Sprouts. And the first one, I almost died several times. It's like, no. And they don't have Benny at level 15.
I was leveling Pugilist. This is the only class I don't have as a job, is Pugilist. I think I talked to the trainer for the first time during Shadowbringers. And... that job sucks. I'm at 29. I'm almost to 30. I thought I would push it, and I didn't end up pushing it. And there's no AoE. I got nothing. Well, I just unlocked an AoE. I think at the 25 class quest or something, unlocked an AoE. But it's just so it's 1 2 3 1 4 3 1 2 3 1 4 3. It's so terrible. But there's no AoE, and I'm sure the monk gets better. I know it's a powerhouse, but.
Yeah.
I can see Sprouts playing a job not having an AoE at a low level. All kinds of other issues that could cause slowness in the DPS, and it's just I want to say disrespectful. I just don't know what's going through the mind of somebody who's just running around aimlessly pulling things for what? For the amusement? For it's not going fast enough? Or this is how the game is played, right? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. And again, I'm not against big pulls. It can be boring to heal low-level dungeons. I got it. But you shouldn't just be forcing it on everybody else either. And I did notice, she must have typed it as I was actually hitting the leave button. The scholar in Copper Bell said, finally typed, pull lots. I don't even have to heal you. Well, okay, but you could have said that, a boss ago or whatever. You didn't like the way I was playing, but you were going to dictate to me how we were going to play. So, no, I was unhappy about it, honestly. It kind of pissed me off. I mean, I logged out because I had to take the cooldown timer for leaving. But whatever. But no, it was more just a lack of communication and the fact that they just they just decided for us what we were going to do.
Oh, I agree. Yeah, that you have to speak up. You have to say what's going on if you're going to do that. Wasn't there something else recently where it was the E9S where Joe Dragoon or whatever he was he didn't say he had cleared it before. And he just kind of sat down, and we were doing, this was the clear sign. I mean, he should have been kicked for that.
That was my first issue.
That was the taste test. So, maybe I misspoke earlier when I said we didn't have much tolerance. We actually did tolerate some bullshit. Know your warning signs. Here's another Ruby tip. Know your warning signs. The warning sign was we put the markers, because it's a learning party, we put the markers down where people need to stand, how we want to separate, yada yada.
Pick your clock spot.
Yeah. While Belle's explaining this, this individual is sitting on the ground, and so we're all lining up or whatever, and they refuse to, so obviously this person is in the empty spot, whatever else. And after Belle got through explaining all this stuff, the guy finally is like, "Oh, I've cleared it already." Why are you here? Again, it goes to that Burger King Crown mentor mentality. I've come here to save the day. All right, Joe Chin, get your ass out. Don't need it.
That was always a big red flag when I used to farm Ruby. When people would not stand in their clock spots, I don't care how many times we've done it. I don't care if we only replaced one person. Just go stand there so it's clear to everyone what's
my
going
nuts
on.
Are too big for that, okay? I can't possibly carry these giant balls over there and stand in a spot.
It's just a red flag, especially in a learning party, when it's like, if you can't even comply to standing in a spot during the planning and explanation phase, how can I even trust that you're gonna... Well, we were doing our strat, right? Some of it was a common strat. We had a couple of differences. So you need to listen. What were we? Were we 6 out of 8? We're all free company members anyway?
Yeah, or 5 of 8, something like that.
Or free company members, or like a link shell friend that we've actually
also in the Discord.
Before. Yeah, everybody else in the Discord. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, no, it made me kind of cranky. All right, you can shoot the shit with us on the website www.gtffxiv.com. Give us some real posts versus all of our spam posts. All right, the first round is news. Congrats to Justin McCraw, who won our Thirsty for Endwalker contest. Enjoy your Edge Minion.
Hey,
good stuff. We told us what we wanted and sent him the code, and he replied back pretty fast that he was using it. So
yeah, we are a legitimate outfit. We give our codes. It's for real, guys. You can join our contests. We do plan on having 2 more. I was trying to map it out in my head today how we would do this. Obviously, we're not doing a contest this episode, but I guess by next episode we would, which would put us right into August. And we'll probably carry something through the month of August, do something again where we report, and then mid to late September, probably do it again to carry us through to Endwalker. We know we have 2 more prizes that we have to give away. We have the Butterfinger, what is that, the Koroku? What is the name of that guy? The Kokopor?
Chocolate
yeah,
Kokopor?
that chocolate goodness. We've got one of those, and we've got a black chocobo to give away. Also, thanks to Belle Dandy for those donations to us. So, come on, join our contest. We've got some good stuff. It's better than a Scarf of Wondrous Wit, anyway.
That you can now buy from the Tome Moogle, usually. But at least I'm not salty. All right. Patch 5.58 notes. This was a smaller, this is just a little, unchaining some things, adding some echo to things.
Easing of content.
So, one of them that did interest me, I forgot to say this. The EXP gained by trust NPCs have been increased, so I did run a few dungeons on trusts, because most of mine are like level 45 or something. Or 75. Must be 74, 75. So yeah, they get more XP now. I don't know mathematically how many fewer dungeons you have to run with each one. Somebody's probably crunched the numbers. I'd be interested to see, because running them all through 6 times is kind of a pain in the fucking ass, I'm going to say. But I did get on tank for that, because you can then grab as much as you want rotate through your cooldowns and hope the NPC heals you. So,
well, the DPS will be just as slow as from your Sastasha.
Pretty much the same as Sastasha, but yes. All right. Battle system: the Cloud Deck Extreme has been moved from Raid Finder to Duty Finder, and the drop for the Diamond Quiver Trumpet from the Cloud Deck Extreme has been increased. Have you done the fight yet?
Not the extreme one. No, that's kind of my next list of things to do. I've got to run through all the EXs in 5.0 and 5.x and try to get all those triple triad cards at the same time.
It's not a bad fight. It was pretty easy, and I think we started blind. I think we pretty much figured the whole fight out. I think I only looked up something when we were thinking we were going to quit in another half hour or something. So I went and looked, and I just confirmed that we had actually seen every mechanic.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, we did amazing. All right. The weekly restriction to receiving Blades of Lost Antiquity from Eden's Promise Eternity has been removed, so farm up all of those. The strength of the Echo gained in Eden's Promise Savage has been increased, so we did have our 15% Echo buff when we went.
That helped.
That helped. We would have been fine without it, I think. We cleared a lot faster than I thought we were gonna, so. The following adjustments have been made to the tower at Peregrine's Breach. The weekly restriction on rewards from coffers has been removed. The weekly restriction on obtaining breach coins has been removed. The following items will now appear in a treasure chest allotted to each party in an alliance while undertaking the tower at Peregrine's Breach. Stuffed android units, modern aesthetics, battle-ready bobs, and scanning for style. The smaller stubby 9S automaton 2B card. The Sound of the End orchestrion roll, morning orchestrion roll, all those orchestrion rolls. All the stuff that was in the you have one chest for the alliance is now just one for each party.
I got the stubby because of this change. That was
I
pretty
got
easy.
the stubby on my alt. I don't have the stubby on my main, but I have it on my alt.
I'm glad about the card increase, too, because that was helpful. But I did not roll high on the card when I was in there. I rolled I think a 74 was the highest, so I got to go back.
The amount of metal rewarded from skirmishes and critical engagements in the Bajan Southern Front and Zadnor have been increased between resistance ranks 1 and 14. So
that's good.
You have an easier now to catch up and get yourself closer to 25. The following adjustments have been made to the critical engagement, the Battle of Castrum Lactus Litor. When fighting the 4th Legion Helldiver, damage dealt by consecutive hits of the attack infrared blast has been reduced. The maximum HP of an NPC allied tunnel armor has been increased. The mechanic requiring 6 players to step on an open gate no longer requires them to stay on the switches. That's pretty nice. Mm-hmm. Following this change, a group of less than 6 players should now be able to complete this mechanic. So they made CLL easier to get through. During the critical engagement on Serpent's Wings and Zadnor, the cast time of the enemy action used in the final phase has been increased from 60 to 90 seconds. Okay. The following adjustments have been made to items required to create resistance weapons. The Loathsome Memory of the Dying, Haunting Memory of the Dying, and Vextrous Memory of the Dying. It looks like the drop rates have been increased, basically. Mm-hmm. And for the second two, the number for completing designated alliance raids has been increased from 1 to 3. So the item required to enhance weapons purchased with Allegan Tombstone of Revelation. The Crypt Esther can be purchased from Fothard in Yulmore. And you need 3 of the 24-man coins, the Manufacture coin, the Puppets coin, and the Breach coin.
Yep, that's what I did.
That's what you did? Yeah. I've been using my relics, so.
I realize it goes to 535
Yeah.
if I was close enough for that, but I just figured I can coast through with this one for now.
Oh,
I will still continue to work on the relic, but I know that I can meet anything I need to between now and 6.0. Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, you could just call it good now. Yeah, I actually was going to go farm up stuff. I didn't have the tomes on my alt because I haven't been running dailies on her and stuff, so I don't have any of the tomes to buy the unupgrade. All right, they made a bunch of PvP action changes. The shared tank action Oh, they reduced the recast time for retaliation. Oh, there's a lot of stuff here. Potency adjustments. Yeah.
I imagine this is all because the feast is, in its 20, which that's the next thing they talk about actually. But I'm seeing a lot of people in the feast. I'm seeing a lot of people who are not physically, like I'm not in the feast looking at it. I've seen a lot of buzz around the feast, PvP, on the official forums and on Twitter. I've just seen people I've never seen talk about the PvP, talking about it. I don't know if people are actually qualifying and getting into the upper echelon of the rankings, but I think the fact that people know that the feast will be changing or disappearing or something in 6.0, and that PvP is going to change in some way, or at least this type of PvP. I think people are taking just one wild stab at it, just to say I did it at one point. I mean, I did when it was 2.0. I did some feast stuff and a little bit when the coins and all that kind of stuff was added and they made some changes. But it's never really been for me, I don't think. I'm looking forward to the new one. I just think a lot of people are trying to get in right now, give it a shot. I don't know that too many people have the ambition that they're actually going to get that new mount. Mm-hmm. Because I think they know that when you get to the really high levels, there's some other kind of magic that's there. And I don't know what that magic is, if it's good magic or bad magic. But when you get to the really high rankings, it's not for all of us mortals, is what I'm trying to say.
Oh, all right. And then, like you said, the feast, season 20 of the feast will begin. And I think it has begun. I think there's another post on that, though.
It's begun.
System. Now, this is, people are already bitching about this. In an effort to ease server congestion, players who are inactive for more than 30 minutes will be logged out automatically. We have a huge uptick of people creating new characters and stuff, so, you gotta do what you gotta do.
Yeah. And to be honest, I'm not promoting anything, but just circumventing this is extremely easy. I'm not telling you how, but circumventing this is extremely easy to do. So I don't quite know what it gets. And then, I don't know, I guess we'll talk about it later. Maybe Yoshida's message about this. I don't remember if it's in the notes or not. But Yoshida's message about, why they had to do the stuff they did for the servers. And then he came back with a second message that's like, but please don't feel bad if you're dancing in the streets of Lisa Lomasa. Don't feel bad if you're dancing out there. So it's a little bit of a mixed message, but I don't know. I would just say don't circumvent this while you're standing in the middle of Lisa Lomasa, because somebody might. The police may come after you. Who knows?
You may get reported. I don't know. If I'm not logged in for 30 minutes, I don't care. Log me out. What I usually do anyway, ever since they made that change long ago, where there's pretty much always a queue now, even if it's only 19 people, I usually just fire up the game, hit the button to log in. I usually walk away and go get a drink and, just whatever I need to do to be able to sit down for the next 2 hours without having to worry about playing. So I don't care if I get a queue.
Excalibur's not terrible about the queues. Yeah. We're not on a data center that has streamers or blue check marks or what have you, so we're not completely congested with that. But this is a needed change. I think more changes will be coming, and hopefully, with those changes, it makes things more pleasant for everyone.
All right, and like I said, the Feast Season 20 is underway. They're doing a housing furnishing again. They're doing wolf collars get you this gear again. And then some people were kind of liking that this, whatever this mount looks very, very, very mecha. Kind of cool looking.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's pretty neat.
That's the prize. That's what everybody wants.
All right, then we have a post regarding the growing player population and plans to alleviate world congestion.
There we go. This is the one.
Okay, this is really long, but too long didn't read. They talk about player population growth, the increase in the NA and EU regions in the past 3 weeks has been completely staggering and unexpected. And many players are now having difficulty logging in or creating new characters due to server congestions. And for that, they're apologizing. They are... Have they or are they? Let me see. Oh, yep. On July 16th, they have done some changes to raise the simultaneous login caps. So on July 16th, to increase the maximum number of simultaneous logins across the NA data centers by 18,000, or approximately 750 per world server. They're planning on doing one for the EU also, but until they can do the upgrade, it's going to be hard to raise world login caps to the same degree. So they're working on it. I think that's why we had that extra long maintenance, which should have been, the patch notes
right.
the patch notes we read shouldn't have been a long maintenance, but yeah, it sounds like some players are some places they're having login times of 10 to 20 minutes, so. Or as high as 40. So it's, I guess, a little more serious than I've ever seen. I've seen outside of like release weekend or whatever. Mm-hmm. And then character creation and login wait times. They talk about when a world server reaches maximum capacity, any additional players attempting to log in will be placed in a queue, and new characters can't be created. And they're going to log out characters rather than remaining logged in when idle. And they are asking us to avoid creating new characters during peak congestion times. And they ask us to just be patient. They also note that players they're prioritizing paying customers. The login queue isn't available to players using the free trial version, regardless of whether it occurs due to a surge of logins or a world reaching its capacity. Logging in will only be possible for those players after a world's login queue is cleared. So,
I mean, it's right, but it's yeah. I'm amazed that it's worked this way. Yes, it's 100% right. Like, this is how it should work, but I guess I never logically thought about it this way, that you gotta, man, you're not a paying customer. You gotta wait. You gotta wait until there's capacity before you come in. And, go back to that official forum post where the guy was upset that, he couldn't get in because he paid already. But you might not have even got to play, Buster, with the way things are. So, take it or leave it.
All right, and then they also mentioned that they've added the automatic logout, which we've already talked about in patch 5.58. They discuss additional worlds and data centers. The fundamental solution is, of course, to add more world servers and data centers. And they've been moving forward with plans to expand ever further, putting the wheels in the motion for approving budgets and blah, blah, blah. But what it comes down to is that they've had to reevaluate this timeline of when they were going to do this. But they have obstacles. One of them is the insufficient servers due to the current semiconductor shortage. So they can't even get the servers if they wanted to. And travel restrictions is preventing people from, going and physically visiting the data center locations to do, things. So, and they mentioned COVID. COVID's kind of fucking them here.
Yeah.
I also don't want them to add a bazillion servers and try to lure us into going into other servers, and then because this might be a flash in the pan.
Sure,
it might be a bubble. It's going to burst. These people are going to go back to their other. Some will stay, but the looky-loos or the people who, they'll play through everything they want to play through and be done. It's not necessarily. In fact, it's probably unlikely that all of them will stay like we've stayed for how many years now. But but it might.
I agree with you, and I also think that scarcity, at least for Nintendo, typically. I know we're not talking about Nintendo, but I think of Nintendo when I think of scarcity. Scarcity works in your favor sometimes. So the fact that more people can't log in or whatever, yeah, it makes people mad, but they're still talking about the game. I can't get in this fucking game. This game's so damn popular now. And everybody's talking about it again. People were talking about 14 because of the popular, because they couldn't log in, whatever else. And if it's like, gosh, we've increased the server size and we still can't get people to log in. I don't think they're gonna just throw a billion more servers on here because I don't think it behooves them. You don't want it to seem empty. You want it to seem too full. You want it to seem like there's no Nintendo Switches in stock anywhere. You know, it's so rare. That it'd be rare to get in and play this game. I do think it's somewhat of a bubble. We're in summertime. We're in we're not even going to talk about Blizzard tonight, folks. But we're in this era with WoW / the Activision Blizzard stuff that's happening this week. People are leaving that game for one reason or another. We've got celebrity, quote unquote, however you feel about them, streamers from other said games that are dipping their toes in the water. I mean, I watch Summit 1G, and he's great, and he's not known for 14. But he's given it a shot. Carnage has been playing. This is outside of the people that you may be thinking of. There's a lot of streamers out there that are playing this game right now. So there's a lot of traction, but I do think it's a bubble to some degree, and I think once the 6.0 dust settles, you may have some Asmongold's that come back every 6 months to dip their toe in the water, clear some raids in a week, and call it, streamer content. The rest of us will still be chipping away at our E9Ss or whatever and playing for the long haul. And I think those who remain. And so, in short, putting all those servers would not be the best idea because I think you want to show that there's a little bit of tightening. You want just a little bit of wiggle room in there. Make it feel full.
Yeah, no, I agree. And then Yoshi P apologizes again that he should have predicted the influx of new players. I don't honestly know how, but
I love how they put all his words in red, like the words of Jesus on this thing. Because we know.
We know.
He's our Lord.
All right. Just briefly, notification of EU data center maintenance and a message for players. This is kind of the same problem, right? Increased login caps for the EU data centers. They bumped theirs up to...
Yeah, this was actually a hero moment, I think, because this happened pretty quick after the previous message that you read that they were like, we can't do the EU servers. And then, they did it, which is kind of wild.
Yeah. So, this is where you saw that you must have seen the postscript about, I'll stop dancing in Limsa for a while,
this
or
is
I guess
the one.
we shouldn't log in to watch our monitors while we eat. He deeply appreciates us being considerate. Activities above are part of the game, too, so you don't need to show so much restraint and stop having fun.
What a guy.
What a guy. I saw a pretty funny little video about, since they added that, it's basically the calamity. If someone's AFK for a while, they get booted out of the server and it's a calamity. It was pretty cute. Alright, we have new optional items in a limited time sale. The new item is the Oracle's attire. It is Rain's outfit. It's very cute. I bought it for my alt. And then the question mark over your head emote, I don't remember, was it Ponder or something? Wasn't that Make It Rain's last year? I can't remember.
That's right. Yeah.
Okay. And they have the Adventure Jumpstart, and Make It Rain campaign sale. So, if you want to jump your character, jump your retainer, it's all there for you to do.
Just don't complain about the game if you do it.
You mean you don't want to have people stand into giant AoEs and scream where were the heals when they die?
Yeah, I don't know what book you buy that lets you stand in giant orange AoEs and then, survive. But I don't see that one for sale. So, yeah, that's streamer privilege. I don't think that works. I don't think that works in this game. At least it didn't for that guy.
The emote's name Consider. I just clicked on it.
Consider.
Yeah. But yeah, there's quite a few things on sale. Not anything I would buy, but I don't buy Tales of Adventure stuff. Or retainer stuff. Oh yeah, the other three on sale were all from past Make It Rain campaigns. So
yeah, that makes sense. The only other thing I'll say about this stuff is I've seen the topic come back up on the official forums about gendered outfits. Because male characters want to wear the Reen outfit. It's not for me, but if other male characters want to wear the Reen outfit, it's for you. It's not for me. But the conversation comes up. Why do they have gendered outfits in this game? And there's some model issues, I think, is the deal. I feel like this has been explained before. And this was something I was talking to Yelta about earlier prior to the podcast, is with the influx of new players, a lot of topics that we have covered, and I don't mean just Yelta and I mean this community as a whole, have talked about before ad nauseum, are coming back up again because new players are coming in and asking the same stuff. And it is things like gendered outfits. I haven't seen Eggy Glamours come back up yet, but I have seen where's our mythic dungeon, make the four-person dungeons harder, and some other sentiments like that. Some remove the cutscenes from the story roulette. Yeah, it's just the kind of stuff that like I thought we had gotten to a point where if those topics came up, we were sure they were troll posts. Not anymore.
Yeah. No, I've seen some of us do our broken records. There are things that I have mentioned every time it comes up. I'm like, yeah, I agree with that. But it's kind of funny to see some of the ones that have been bubbling to the surface over and over for the last, 7 years or whatever, to see them posted by new people, apparently. And not like in a trolly way either. They look like, legit posts. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of like, the glamour dresser sucks. And so a lot of us are like, yes, it does. But oh my God, at least we have it.
Right. There was a time.
Right. Regarding the 14-hour broadcast, our Tales of Adventure segment, archive. It's archived. It's available to view only till Tuesday, August 10th. If you haven't had a chance to view it, this is your last chance. And there is two links, one on Twitch and one on Nico Nico. So it will be... Oh, the archive video may be removed earlier or later than the scheduled time. So if you want to watch it, go watch it.
Interesting. I'm going to click on it right now while we're here. But I'm doing so because I've seen some translated interviews that was from the 14-hour broadcast. They added the captioning. Oh, yeah, it's here. Yeah, I'm not sure if the captioning's on this one or if it's on just on YouTube where I've seen the actual translation. And he has some interesting comments. There's a gentleman that's talking to him. He's got a little goatee and a little flavor saver. I don't know this gentleman's name, and I can't turn on the sound. But they talk about 11 for a little bit, I believe. And they talk about, like, I can't believe 11's still running. Yoshida's like, yeah, I run it as well as 14. And he said, we're going to run 11 forever. We may switch it to cloud storage to keep it those servers, but I never want to see those memories gone under my watch. And he said that they were going to add more story content to it. So I was really surprised about that. So some 11 news there. They asked him something else. I think there was a question about comparing 14 to WoW. And Yoshida's like, whoa. I don't compare to WoW. We're not comparing our game to WoW. And there's more to it than that, but that was the gist. And I think WoW has always been an inspiration as a friendly competition or let's borrow the best from the MMO world, and WoW is the best in certain areas. Let's borrow those aspects. But I don't think Yoshida's ever been like, we're here to squash WoW. We're here to be the number one MMO. So there were some interesting tidbits out of that. I don't know where you get the actual translated part. I feel like I saw it on YouTube. But I'm looking at around the hour-long mark, and the gentleman that Yoshida's talking to here is the interview I'm talking about. So good luck finding that translation. Maybe we'll cover that on the next episode if we're able to get some of that stuff.
Okay. And then we have the Letter from the Producer Live Part 65 Digest released. It's stuff we've already talked about it, but they've put up on the Lodestone all the, the benchmark trailer and all the slides and stuff. So it's all there if you want to look at it. I don't know if there's anything extra translated in there or not either.
It's Yoko Taro's stuff, if you're interested in that.
Skip.
Wah, wah.
All right, the reminders, the Make It Rain campaign, it began July 19th. It's ending on August 11th, and that's in the morning, so don't think you're going to come home from work and play it.
Mm-mm.
So go in and get your MGP.
I still got to do this. I hadn't done it yet, so I got to run in and do it. I've been going every day to get my money, but I haven't done the quest yet, so I got to go do it.
All right, what's on tap? We have a developer's blog. It's Cloudy with a Chance of MGP. This is the event that Ruby needs to go do.
Mm-hmm.
So they just talk about the event period, and you start in Ulda, and the emote is Vexed. It looks like a scribble over here. It kind of looks weird, but okay. And then, of course, we all know you get 50% more MGP during the event. And if you're like our free company and other free companies, you're running a big old MGP bonus on top of it to have a multiplier. So, and they give a tip if you're after some MGP, I'd recommend the mini Cacpot. And they talk about how to do mini Cacpot. I also, if I'm looking for MGP, I do my 3 draws a day on the mini Cacpot. I do my weekly 3 tickets for the big jumbo Cacpot.
Yep.
I always talk to Masked Rose, and it doesn't matter what I'm wearing, I get 10,000 at least.
Mm-hmm.
What else? I try to do like 3
You do the
mini
gates?
games.
Yeah.
I don't ever do gates. I should probably do some gates. I don't like having to wait around for them to start.
Do you like the jumping puzzle? You don't like jumping puzzles,
I hate
do you?
jumping puzzles.
Okay, I was going to say, I was watching some
Bitterly.
streamers do the jumping puzzles, and they make some good MGP doing those, but I can see that a little daunting.
Yeah, I hate it. I'm not good at jumping puzzles, and this game isn't super good at jumping mechanics, so no. But there's like weekly challenge log stuff. Basically, you can spend 15 minutes and just do like, I don't know, what is it, like 3 Verminion matches or something and get a shit ton, and like do a couple chocobo races and get a shit ton. You can get quite a few. Like every other week, I sign up for the Triple Triad tournament. Even if I don't play, I still get some MGP.
Yep, there you go.
So, there's, try to do the challenge log sometimes. Because you have to save up, because I think the 15 crossover, wasn't the car end up in the in the gold saucer, so you want your 200K or whatever that car cost. Happy hour! We have a email from a fan. Mohawks writes, "Hey guys, super big fan of the podcast and all the great work you have done with the FC. I used to be a very active player, but I've taken a break recently following the birth of our daughter. She's now 9 months old, and I've just gotten back into catching up on everything I've missed over the past 9 months. I'm not doing a ton of group content due to needing to get up and do dad stuff, but spent most of my time crafting, looking for any gaming while parenting tips you may have. Thanks again so much for all you do, Mohawks."
Yeah, just put the kid in the bathtub and walk away. That's obviously not. No.
Strand them in the playpen forever and ignore them. No.
Lock them in the cupboard. Yelta, you're welcome to talk about this. Your kids are older than mine. So I don't know if you.
They were little.
I don't know if you have
11.
the same issue.
No, my kids are in their 20s, and they know that mommy's playing right now. They were little.
Yeah, but you've played games when your children were little, and you I'm sure you had some parenting tricks for that. I don't know that mine are any tricks at all. I can say just because it's more recently and I have more recollection, because I'm just really, really, really now getting back to doing any kind of Savage content that I haven't done since the beginning of Stormblood. Mm-hmm. That's the honest truth, because when Stormblood came out, my child was born, and Eureka, I think 5.1 was just right after or the same time that my son was born. And I used late nights to do Eureka, and Eureka was just the right kind of content. It was, especially at the time, because we had arguments about this, Yelta. Not arguments, but an argument, which was, why does this 11 type content have you run around and doing fate trains when it was supposed to be stand in a camp and pull mobs and play at like 11? And of course, efficiency won out. Everybody did the train. Eureka is what it is today, which is basically fate trains with a little bit of bunnies thrown in. And so I was able to utilize Eureka as a spot that I could watch my child and just hop a fate train and just be brain dead. It's brain dead content. But once we got into, it was a mix. Once we got into Pagos takes a little more concentration. And my son was no longer just sleeping because he was no longer 2 weeks old. You know, it was now feeding schedules and you know, he's actually a living, breathing thing. And so, like, you now at this 9 months old mark, that was when it was starting to get difficult.
I think work at that age. Yeah.
It's a lot more work at that time because we're starting to get into mobility, and there's just a lot more needs. And this was something I was thinking about the other day, and I'm not going to get too esoteric, but is it more important for me to do a hunt train or play on the floor with my son and play trains? What's more important to me at that time? And only you can ask yourself at that moment, what's most important to me? It's more important to me to play trains than it is to join a hunt train. But I will say that gets better because my son can go play trains by himself now, and he likes to go do that or watch his tablet or go eat lunch or play with his mom or do something else. And so the dynamic has changed. So I guess what I'm saying is I don't really have any good advice for you. You got to roll with the punches, brother. You just have to take the time when you can and know that if you're taking that time out, you feel right about taking that time out. Things are good and I'm happy with the way things are, then take the time, play, enjoy. Don't make sacrifices for a game. I think you just have to recognize when the right moments are that allows you to play without going against what you believe is right as a father. I guess that's terrible advice. I don't even know what the right thing to say. I certainly can't say tape him up in a closet and play as much as you want. I don't think that's very good parental advice. Yelta, I'm sure you've got something better to say than what I spit out.
Usually in your day, you probably have some time for you time. You just have to decide, is that enough to get anything done in Final Fantasy? And it looks like, if you have to spend your time doing crafting, then because you don't have time to run dungeons with people, then you craft instead of running dungeons with people. I really started playing MMOs when my kids were little, but they were good sleepers in the morning or good sleepers all night. So not when they were babies or anything, but you're kind of screwed for now. 9 months, it takes a while. But, when they start sleeping all night, you could probably grab an hour or two, a couple times a week maybe, and do stuff. I was also spoiled because my husband was a stay-at-home dad, so I didn't have to get up with him in the morning. So, I'd watch him if he wanted to do something, or I'd be playing. Half the time I played on my laptop. Well, I played 14 right in the living room TV, and so the kids were all running around in the living room with me anyway. They'd be playing with their toys, and they'd bring me their baby dolls to babysit, and we'd not pull for a while. But I didn't. You just can't. If you don't have time to do something for 2 hours, you don't have time to do something for 2 hours. You have to find an activity that fits in that slot. So, but yeah.
Well, and I think it's funny is 10 years ago when you were playing Final Fantasy XIV, it was a completely different Final Fantasy XIV. When we're talking about 1.0 or something that was like 11, where you have to sit at Port Juno and it takes an hour to get something together, or everybody's got to get ready before we go do Garuda or something. And it's this big gear up. Man, what a time sink to, God forbid the baby cries and I have to go run and do that. I don't really mean that, but you know what I'm saying. And where this game progressively I'm saying Eureka was a nice little niche that I could just kind of hang out and do my thing. Well, I mean, now we have trust. We didn't have trust in Stormblood. So now we have the trust system, and we have more ways to play solo if we need to, or go AFK, but not longer than 30 minutes because you'll get kicked from the server. More ways that you can play solo, and I'm sure Yoshida's not saying, hey, Mohawk's as a kid, let's give him more ways to play. But hey, utilize it. Play the trust. Do what you need to do so you don't have parental guilt and you're able to get something accomplished. If you have to craft. My wife did a lot of crafting. She's back catching up on her crafting because we kind of have this rule that once 11 o'clock hits, we somewhat expect there'll be that one call like, Mama, I need some water, and if you're in the middle of some Savage content or some kind of 24-man raid, you got to run and go check on them and get them a water. It might break that. So we say, okay, nothing major after 11. We just do little piddly stuff. So, you just got to make your own rules, got to make your time, you got to know what feels right, and you'll get the feel for it. And I've always been told, this is my first child, that once you get the feel for what's going on, you kind of got a handle on what's happening with your kid, it completely changes. You're screwed. You got to learn something else. So I'm fully ready for everything to completely flip around, and I have to learn a new way of doing this. But good luck, man. I'm sure you're doing great, and you'll continue to do great. And thank you for the email, Mohawks. I really appreciate the reach. This is 2 weeks in a row. We've gotten a lot of good emails and feedback.
It's been nice.
We got feedback from Justin. He said, raise the volume on these episodes. So Ruby will raise the volume on this episode moving forward. If it's too loud, you let us know. We're still having some issues with Stitcher, I think. Something with the security on the HTTP or some crap. I don't know. I'm not a rocket scientist. But we'll try to get some of that stuff fixed. We want your feedback. Any ways that we can make the episodes better, things that you want us to have, guests that you would like us to have. We're real bad. I do marketing in my day job, and I'm so bad about doing it for the podcast. But if you've got suggestions and you want us to do anything, let us know. I think we can reach out and make some things happen and make it more enjoyable. We appreciate all the new listeners. Thank you. Really appreciate it.
It's really cool. I really enjoy seeing when new people join us or old people keep listening. It's pretty fantastic. So thank you. All right, then it's closing time. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. You can find links to all of our episodes and blog posts on our website, www.gtffxiv.com. While you're there, please leave us a comment. And if you'd like to, you can support us by clicking the donation button. You can find us on Twitter at GTFFXIV. Email us at gtffxiv@gmail.com. Please rate us. Personal plugs, Ruby.
Yes, you can find me on Twitter at RubiconVale, RubiconVale.
And you can find me on Twitter at YeltaSumasu, YeltaSumasu. As always, thanks for listening, and we will catch you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.